All right, guys, this is the final update for the house that I'm flipping, that I flipped in, well, located at 3635 Crosby Drive, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30331. The house sold for $190,300. Let me show you the pictures. That's my dog in the background. Studious. See the photos. So I'll, check out the other videos for the progress from then, before it was flipped, to now. Okay. Yep. And that's the backyard. And then I'll also show you some more information. That's the map. This is where the house is located, and I live here currently. 15 minutes from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Charming 2-bedroom home located in Atlanta, Georgia. So this is when it sold for 190,000, or listed for 182,000, and then sold for 190,000. May 18th, 2022. Originally built in 1958. Cooling interior systems. Linoleum vinyl flooring. Carport on site. So it was rented for, it was attempted to be rented for the past few years in 2024. But as you can see here, my client, he bought the house in 2018 for 35,000. Tried to sell it in 2019 for 120, for 99. Also again for 99. It didn't sell. He brought me in 2022. He listed it for 180 to do the renovation, to do the flip. Listed it for 182,000, and then it sold in May 18th, 2022. So let's see here. Yep, the rest of the information. Comparable sales. Yep. John Lewis Academy, Carroll Heights. Yeah, okay. Bottom of the website. Yep, there's the house. 190,000. All right, guys, so I'm glad I made this final video. The house got sold. It got flipped. I was project manager on this project. It took a while. I remember actually being in Alaska where I had got these agates while I was flipping this property. So I was traveling and I was making money managing this project here. And setting up loans, coordinating loans for my client to use for the renovation of this property here. I will say, the man's name is Quevin Cobb. That's the actual owner who contracted with me to flip this house. The original contract was that I would project manage. Well, initially I did a business plan for him, and then he asked me for more services, so I also did a general contractor agreement with him, and then I also did a residential listing agent agreement with him to list the house for sale. I will say though, I sent him contacts for the contractors. I managed the contractors. I sent him leads and contacts to get a loan for the renovation. I think he actually told me that he used my lender. He got approved for the loan, but he didn't take the loan because he said he got the same rate at his credit union. So, um, he was at that point he had started being just obstinate, or just bad dealing, because eventually he asked me to change the contract from original what we had originally stated, which I believe was 6% commission for listing the house, and then I think it was either 10 or 10% or 20. I have the contract written down, but it was like 10 or 20% of the actual sale of the house. So I should have made about 40,000 from managing and then also listing and bringing a buyer. We signed on that contract, and then he had me. Well, I felt like he forced me, but obviously he didn't like push me or punch me, but he had like coerced me and said was like he didn't. I don't want to say coerce. Basically, he just wanted to go back on the contract. He just wanted. He kind of. He It was this moment when we were in the kitchen, and he was like he had me in a corner. Like I wasn't in a corner, but I felt like he was gonna hurt me because he was like, "You don't want to make me mad." And I was standing there. I was actually sitting down at the table, and he was like, "You don't want to make me mad because that's too much money to be paying you." Now, I had read the contract with him, and then I also gave him a copy of the contract. Um, Maybe before I started working on this, because we had went to this restaurant to meet in near Georgia Tech, this noodle shop. So then he started getting mad at me and was saying, I don't want to pay you that much money. I don't want to pay you. So I balked. I said, okay, I'll just change the contract. You don't have to pay me. Um, I did feel like he was going to try to hurt me though. That was something I remember. And the other thing too, I remember whenever he would talk to me, he would always say stuff like, "You don't like confrontation. You don't like confrontation, or you don't like to get in front of people." Or he's like, "Oh, you're afraid of like getting hit." He was like, "I need to show you how to box." He kept saying stuff like that, and I think that was kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, that was like his warm up for like, I'm gonna try to confront you and physically fight you later on in our relationship. So that's why I'm saying these things to you, because then when it does come up, you're not gonna want to confront me. That's what it was. Because I always remember he was like, "Yeah, I want to teach you how to box and um, confront you. You don't like confrontation," even though I never, I've never been afraid of confrontation, but it's not something I'm looking for either. So the statement didn't make any sense. But now that I see how he did try to um, overpower me physically, like he got me, he wasn't just like over the phone, like, "Hey, you know what? Then this is too much. I don't want to pay you this amount." Some. But he actually tried to get me into like a physical location to like actually intimidate me, right? So he could like dominate the deal. So um so that I would back out of the contract and not take the money that I knew I was entitled to, that I had signed with him, that he agreed to pay me initially. Um so that was what happened. I never did get paid from it, but I did finish the project, and I did assist in finishing the project. And so I had asked the lawyer I know to help me sue him. The lawyer said it wasn't worth it. Um, so I never did sue him, probably because for 40,000, it wasn't worth it to sue him. Now I needed that money, or at least I felt like I needed that money, but at the same time, it wasn't worth it. The project was finished. His name is Quevin Cobb. So if you ever run across him in business, don't work with him. He's gonna try and intimidate you out of your commission or your check. And then yeah, the house is done though. I flipped it. I was the project manager. Completed it. Got it. Sent all the leads. Got the contractors managed. Work with the lenders. Work with the seller. And I did my part. Did my part. Yeah. Yep. So end of the video. All right, guys. Next one.